Conversation with Indiana Area School Superintendent Mike Vuckovich is brought to you this morning by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people on this gorgeous Monday. We got to think about school, Mike.
Absolutely, Todd. The planning never stops. We have a whole year to get ready for it, sir.
Yeah, you sure do. Hey, over the weekend, of course, the State Education Department announcing that July 1st is when school activities can resume again. Of course, that's at a time when there isn't school scheduled around these parts. But what does that opening date of July 1st, what does that mean to you, if anything?
Well, it does a couple things. Number one, first and foremost, July 1st is an anticipated date. However, we still have to submit a PD health and safety plan that we're working on. Now, schools are going to be hard-pressed to try to get that done by July 1, and there's several sets of criteria that we have to complete. Now, luckily, with the leadership of our board and our administrators and teachers, we are ahead of the game, and we're going to try to have something done by June 22nd for the board to review. But we're getting ready. It means the doors are opening. We have to get ready. And what we did, Todd, was we did a survey of our families. We know a large portion of them want to come back and get ready. So we have responsibility to go through, look at that safety plan, put those plans in place, and make sure we're ready to execute come July 1.
One of the things about this time of the year, right after the school year lets out, is that, you might think that everybody kicks back for a little bit and relaxes, and maybe you do for a few days, but even the students themselves, they've got summer activities that are related to school, and they kick in pretty quick in June, don't they?
They sure do. Summer really is the busiest time of the year because you only have a couple of weeks to prepare for a whole year. Once the year's up and running, we're only modifying and fixing things in flight, but this is our best time and most important time to plan as a team and as an organization. So, yeah, kids and the district are both busy. So it's a busy time of year.
Yeah, it really, really is. There's a lot of planning that has to go on this year, more so than ever before. So school board is meeting tonight. Budget is going to be one of the items that is going to be considered tonight. And what does the budget look like, and are there changes? I would guess that this is a budget that every day it molds itself into something brand new.
It absolutely does. Right now with the pandemic hitting the whole entire nation as well as the world, it has an impact on us. But you know what? We have great leadership from top to bottom. Everyone's working together to develop a plan and hopefully mitigate some of those damages due to the pandemic. Additionally, the board's been good stewards of finances over the last several years and are prepared for this to the best of our ability. So we're working smart. We're working hard. It's something that is fluid, and by the end of the month, we'll be ready to adopt a budget that takes in the best that we could do as far as our finances, compassion, flexibility of our families. Because right now, when you look at the unemployment rates, you look at the impact it had on the local economy, we're cognizant of that, and we're going to do everything we can to be fair and flexible to the best of our ability.
I want to get back to what education looks like in the coming year in a couple of moments, but the other big issue in our society right now, beyond coronavirus, is the racial situation, the demonstrations, and the opportunities that presents from an educational standpoint. You as a school district, I know you're interested in stepping into that.
Absolutely. Right now, one of our priorities is the issue of equity and what equity means. And right now, this brings to light to have these types of conversations. Racism is a very real thing. Now more than ever, it's just being recorded. So I think it's always been here. The question is, how can we help our kids have a conversation about it, understand it, and teach them through our social emotional learning, our programming, what truly acceptance means, what understanding means, what equity means. So it's something that we have to bring to light. We're not going to hide from. We're going to help each other have this conversation and make sure our kids and our community keep kindness at the forefront of what we do and who we are.
It's going to be really interesting over the summer. It's like we've got these issues, and these issues, and now here's this issue, which is as big as any of them and bigger than most. And so that is something else that is going to draw a great amount of attention, and that means a great amount of energy.
Yeah, like anything else, Todd, it's an opportunity to get better. It's an opportunity to bring some things to light, to have conversations and plan and reflect. Our goal is to make sure we don't tell our kids what to think. We allow them to decide what to think. We just require that they do things. We're giving them a platform. We're giving them an opportunity to have these discussions, and that's exactly what I think good government and good leadership is all about. And we're blessed to have a great community, and we're going to continue to move forward and do everything we can to open our doors and be ready for our kids come August.
All right, so we're getting set for an academic year that will begin in August, and you, over the course of the summer, and the entire team there at the Indiana Area School District, a lot of planning to do. What is on the schedule for you? What does education look like come August?
Well, right now, the biggest thing on our plate is preparing our PD health and safety plan that's required before any kids or any activities are allowed to resume. So that's number one on our plate. And then what we did about 2 weeks ago, Todd, we sent a survey out to our families with a 20-page document that says, look, we have three options. It's come back as normal, traditional. There's the cyber route from our in-house cyber, and there's a hybrid model that we prepared to our families. And what we're doing now is cross-referencing those plans with the health and safety plan that we're required to do and see how that comes out. Right now we know this, 85%, close to 85% of our families want to come back. So that's the model we're working with to prepare for. But we're also going to provide flexibility for those who say, you know what, I'm not ready yet to come back. I want other options, but I still want to be involved in this district. So we're going to keep building that in flight and be ready for our families because they're counting on us.
You know, I was looking at that survey the other day, and it is really comprehensive, and it really gives people the opportunity to let you know as an administrator, this is what our concerns are. This is what's really happening within our family, and our family dynamic is affected in this way, and that includes education. It has to be pretty enlightening for you.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it is. And Todd, here's our board deserves a lot of credit for saying, look, Mike, in a time of crisis, transparency matters. Reach out to your stakeholders, get input from everyone, and develop a plan that's flexible and reflective of their needs. And that's exactly what we're doing. So we ask the hard questions. Yeah, we ask the straightforward, difficult questions. But you know what? We think we need to know that information to build a plan that's reflective of their needs, and that's exactly what we've done.
Do you have goals in terms of the response rate to that particular survey?
No, what we had over nearly 1,000 families respond. We feel that's pretty reflective of where we're at, and that's a pretty nice return rate. But we also understand some people may not have the time or ability to communicate via email. So we think it's pretty reflective of the entire community. But again, we'd encourage anyone else who has any other input or questions, call our offices as well and give us their input. So we're pretty happy with the results. We're pretty happy with the amount of feedback, and we're developing our plan based upon that.
We're talking with Mike Vuckovich, Superintendent, Indiana Area School District. Tonight, the school board will be having another meeting, and folks can watch it online. Mike, when we think about what's coming up in the coming year, a lot of that is going to have to do with your reflections on what happened in the last 3 months or so. Have you been able to digest any of that and to say, okay, here are some conclusions we can make based upon what happened since March?
Yeah, the first and foremost, the biggest one that stands out to me, Todd, is you're never going to replace the importance of face-to-face live interaction with a qualified, great teacher. All this really did for me was reaffirm how I believe cyber schools are not as nearly as productive, efficient, and qualified as that live face-to-face instruction. I think our biggest asset is our people. And I think this now just reassured me of those values, those beliefs, and that perspective because, you know what, you need a solid foundation built upon a strong relationship to have great teaching, and we have that. And I think what I learned through this is we were able to weather that storm only because of those solid relationships. But then again, nothing replaces that face-to-face interaction where our teachers are working with our kids, and our kids are learning to work with each other and their teachers, right? Those social emotional skills, how to interact, how to exchange, how to have a conversation, how to learn from failure, how to, improve self-esteem, how to, deal with conflict. That's what the society, if you look at society now, that's what they need more than ever, right? How to deal with conflict, people with different views, and how to express your views in a professional, articulate, and clear manner. And that's what that face-to-face instruction really allows. So the biggest takeaway, again, Todd, sound like a broken record, I got is how important that live face-to-face instruction really is.
Well, based on that, with the way that education has gone in the last 10 to 20 years, and with what has happened in the last 3 months, probably going to influence more people to want to do everything from home, that has to concern you as an administrator, doesn't it?
It's always a concern, right? Because I think what we need today more than ever is that face-to-face interaction. I think that's really important. That's what makes people grow, makes people happy, and I think that's what society needs. When kids graduate school and have to enter the workforce, they're not going to fill a multiple choice test or a standardized test to know what they're doing. They're going to be able to have conversations, dialogue, conflict, communication skills, and that's what these real live interactions matter. Now, with that said, Todd, we're flexible. We're going to adapt to the model, and I think our plans or our offerings to families reflect such. But again, as a Darren and as an education leader, I tremendously love the ability to have those conversations one-on-one and the role and importance of relationships have in education.
I'm going to give you a chance to boast a little bit here, because I know that you're very, very proud of the way that the seniors from this year and all of the teachers and administrators and parents and everybody has come together in these last 3 months in a very, very challenging environment. Think about commencement and what that's like, and how your heart must just be filled with both compassion for these people, but admiration as well.
Well, without a shadow of a doubt, my heart's filled with joy for this community, for these kids, because we're out. The next chapter of their lives already started, right? Now they're going to make big decisions, where they go to school, what career they're going to take, who they're going to marry, right? But also what they're going to do as an individual to be kind, to be good to people. And I think what was shown on Friday night with our kids' resiliency to come, meet the moment and go above it, and by having parade and being happy, they realized, look, this may not be the graduation we expected, but here's what we have, and they're appreciative, they're happy, and they're joyful, and nothing warms my heart more than to see them smile.
All right, we're going to pretty soon wrap up our conversation here for this morning with Mike Vuckovich. What do parents in the Indiana Area School District need to know from you this morning about what's coming up?
Well, I think this. One, we set up a survey, so please take time to do the survey, but there's no rush. We gave until August 1st, so take your time. And the second thing is, if you need us, we're here. Transparency and communication is a big part of this administration's values, and we're going to keep that going. And lastly, stay tuned as we're going to release some information on our health and safety plan here within the next several weeks, and make sure parents understand what school looks like in the fall and what precautions we have in place, because we think that matters as equally as anything else.
What has the dialogue been like between you and the teachers as an administration working with that faculty that has been, stepping into the breach here for the last 3 months and now looking forward to the coming of a new year? Tell me about that dialogue.
It's been absolutely wonderful. The leadership of the Teachers Association has been part of every meeting we have conducted. They've been an integral part of all of our planning, as well as the nurses. So it's been one of transparency, two-way communication, and they've been valued stakeholders and part of the whole building process the whole entire time. So I'm grateful for their leadership, and I'm grateful for the teachers' execution of saying, look, while you're working on building a plan for that now, we're going to keep our kids learning, and they did exactly that.
Yeah. And I know that you join me in saying to folks, these school board meetings that maybe you don't get to because your schedule doesn't allow you to go to them in person are available now for everybody to watch online. They need to take advantage of things like that to see how school districts work and how school boards work together.
Absolutely. One thing I'm most proud of as we go through this pandemic is not only our school board, but the whole entire county. My colleagues, other administrators and teachers throughout this in Indiana County have been pulling together, working together, sharing best practices. And, character matters the most, especially in times of turmoil. And what I'm most proud of is the leadership by everyone at every level coming forward. You look at the county commissioners, state reps, state senators, everyone's pulling together to try to figure a way out that gives families options and that puts the best interest of students first.
Yeah, that exchange of ideas has to be pretty amazing. Mike Vuckovich, Superintendent, Indiana Area School District, thanks so much for spending some time with us today.
Hey, thank you, Todd. Take care, my friend.
All right, we'll see you again.
Bye.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160 and 101.1 FM, 101.1 FM, 101.